Hey, welcome to the Gig Life Podcast. I'm your host, Stevie Taylor. Hope you're doing well. My guest today is Carlos Adura. Carlos plays drums for Tim Finn, The Strides, Skunkhour, the Tambourine Girls, Mr. Ott, and many more. Carlos was in town for rehearsals with Tim Finn for Bluesfest, so we met up in a park in Sydney's entertainment quarter for a bit of a chat. There's lots of goodness here, eh? So I hope you enjoy this conversation as much as I did. Ladies and gentlemen, this is episode 146, Carlos Adura. Here we go. I think we're rolling. Carlos Adura.
Adura. Stevie. Adura. In Spanish, Adura.
Is there any others?
No, I don't think so.
It. We nailed it.
I've got a lot of nicknames. I was just thinking of all the silly nicknames.
Your first name, Carlos. So I know a few Carloses, and a couple of them, they shorten their names to Los.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Have you ever been lost?
No, I've never been lost.
Okay.
Or car.
Yeah, okay.
Or lost car.
I would never.
I have lost my car.
You lost your really?
I literally suffered from car loss at one night.
Oh.
And there was this. It was in Bondi, like playing a gig, and one of the streets just looked identical to the street where I parked, but it wasn't that one, and it was like I had to get in a taxi and drive around to look for my car.
Were you far away?
No, I was like 3 minutes, like not even, like it was like 50 meters away.
Right.
But it just looked, the whole, it was just funny.
We used to go clubbing a lot back in the sort of late 90s, early 2000s, and we went into town one night and parked the car somewhere, and I could not find the car, and I was in no state to drive the car, but I didn't know where the car was, so I ended up finding my way back home via bus and River Cat and all that sort of stuff. This is when I was living at Castle Hill.
Yeah, right.
And apparently the car was in the lane right next to where we were hanging out, and my brother had fallen asleep in there, so when he woke up he drove home.
That's great.
I know, right?
That's awesome.
But I never even thought to look in the lane next to where we were.
Man, when you said Carlos, that, it reminded me, man, when the Lebbers used to rule the nightclubs back in the time. I remember that. Yeah. That was real clubbing days.
Yeah, it was.
Those some hectic days.
Hectic days.
Yeah.
Hectic, heady, stupid.
Totally.
Yeah.
Fun,
right, we're here at the entertainment quarter in Moore Park in Sydney. For people that don't know where that is, that's where Fox Studios used to be, and they used to make movies here. And but I think those lots are all closed up now, haven't they? I don't think they make movies here anymore. But we are here because you are. Well, hang on. I'll backtrack a little bit. You grew up in Sydney and you lived in Sydney until 2022, you said?
Yep.
But you've moved up to Fingal Heads.
That's right.
So you're back in town because you're currently touring with Tim Finn.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And we're here because you're rehearsing here, right?
That's right. Yeah. So, we've been rehearsing for a couple of days. We've got one more day of rehearsal. And then we're going to do a gig at the Factory Theatre on Saturday.
Yep.
And then we're going to do Bluesfest on Monday.
That's cool.
Yeah, so looking forward to that.
So which stage at Bluesfest?
I think it's the Crossroads. I think it's the main one.
Okay.
But I think we're the final act on that stage on the Monday.
Okay.
So we're just going to miss the whole festival, unfortunately.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. I'm not going to get to see any acts. But, or maybe one act or something after it or something.
Yeah, okay.
But,
right.
Yeah, I guess everyone else is, we're just sort of finishing it off, I guess.
Yeah,
but,
right.
Yeah, still,
so you don't get there early to check it out, or you just like it's in and out?
We're gonna go. Yeah, well, we'll get there like at 4:30. Apparently, that's the time that we're getting there, which is an hour and a half before. So not much time at all.
Okay.
And then by then, you just want to warm up and sort of just, anticipate the gig. And
is this by design from Tim because he just wants to?
No. Other times we've played and we've different days, like we've played earlier days and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this is my third Bluesfest with Tim.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So how long have you been playing with Tim now?
On and off for about 14, 15 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I had no
It's
idea.
been a long time, yeah. I didn't realise that until I saw an old YouTube clip of one of the first few gigs that I did with him. And I was like, it feels like 5 years. But it's been like that long.
Wow.
Yeah.
What about the others in the band? Is his daughter's in the band, is that right?
Yeah, his daughter's in the band now.
Yeah, right.
So she's only been in the band since the last tour. We
Yeah.
did like some theatre shows in Australia and New Zealand. And she's like a new addition. And so also Carlo, the saxophone player, who's from a Melbourne cat from Melbourne.
Yep.
He was also on the tour before this. But the bass player, Tony Buchan, Brett Adams on guitar, and Neil Anderson on keys, we've been doing gigs roughly, I think about 14, 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah, which is cool.
Because obviously being a Kiwi, I grew up on Split Ends, and then also
Totally.
around that sort of mid to late 80s when his sort of solo career really kicked off.
Yeah.
When he had There's a Fraction Too Much Friction and I Hope I Never and
Made My Day.
What about have you ever had to play Party Haka?
I've played it before.
Have
yeah.
you?
Yeah.
Because he did that with the Herbs.
Yeah. I've played it.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
I used to love that song. Yeah.
And that was a song we learned at school.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's like we're a multicultural school, and it was just like a combination of the two cultures. you know?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's always represented. He's always, like New Zealanders are like that, and the Finn brothers, I guess, are like that. They're just, they embrace where they're from. And they celebrate it, and they're like royalty in New Zealand, man.
Yeah.
Like it's so, people just love them, They just, they really respect them, and it's cool. It's been such a trip and an amazing experience playing with him, and get to play with him, and going to New Zealand with him and stuff. It's been amazing.
Is there certain because we've been here for a couple of hours now. We had dinner and stuff and had a chat and all that sort of stuff, and we were talking about the different regions and accents and stuff in New Zealand and stuff like that. Have you noticed when you've toured with Tim if there's more support in different parts of New Zealand?
Nope.
No, not at all.
It's I not enough. To me, for notice, it just always felt supported.
Yeah.
It never not felt supported.
Yep.
There was always so much love in all the cities. I haven't done regional stuff with Tim.
Yep.
There, he's usually just does the main sort of cities and stuff.
Yeah.
But in saying that, like I've always felt like there was just always so much love and support for him. Everywhere. Yeah.
And what about here? So the concerts that you do?
Yeah, here as well. It's just I think it's
a big Kiwi crowd, or he's sort of.
Yeah, it's a good question. It's It's probably a bit of a mix. I think it's a bit of a mix. It's a sort of I guess an older crowd. Because back when he was super popular, and but there's still I guess still always generations coming up and, their parents playing their music to kids and stuff like that too. There's always that. But I felt like it's a mix.
Yeah, that's
but
cool.
there's a slight difference in the feeling in New Zealand. It's like a lot more. You can feel that that he's really treasured there. You really feel that there, like the importance of what he's done. You feel that there a lot more.
And he's still writing and recording music, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because there's always that fear of, maybe fear's not the right word, but of an artist becoming a legacy act.
Yeah.
and it doesn't seem like
he doesn't like that
at all.
No, he's not.
And that's why if you keep inventing yourself and
we have to
keep mixing the sets, and
exactly.
So he's very aware of it, right?
Well, that's why we're doing 3 days of rehearsal. It's not.
Yeah,
it's not like
right.
we don't need to learn the songs.
Yep.
It's just like he just wants to do it differently.
Yeah, that's
you know what I
cool.
mean?
Yeah.
So we just got to figure out. We just jam a bit, and it's kind of really fun.
That's
and
cool.
we try to stumble, and it's like we just got to be quick on our feet and just try to like come up with something hip, as quickly as possible, as a band. And we're so much better at it now than when we first started 15. You know what I mean? But like it's because we know each other, we know how each other plays, and how we play together. So yeah, and the musicians are so great. It doesn't matter what style. Like we can play so many different styles, that we can just throw in. Yeah, just try different things. Like we tried it. Like we were working on Weather With You today, for example, and Tim was just like. He literally said, "I'm so bored of this," and it was like, so he doesn't want to do it like the regular way. You know what I mean? Even though there's something that he understands that the crowd, like he understands the audience's sort of thing, but also for himself, he's a creative, so he's like, he can't just let it just be what it is, unless he's enjoying it. So we're like totally like fucking with it.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're totally it's been really interesting. Just like the last sort of hour we just spent like trying to play it differently, and we're getting somewhere, towards the end. So
that's cool.
Yeah, we might be, people might be in for a treat, if they see the Bluesfest gig, that'll be like just a slightly different thing, and it might not work. It might work, might not work. But
so
I don't think he cares. I think it's more the fact that it's different. It's more exciting for him, to keep doing it because he just wants to be turned on. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. Yeah.
And I love that because as a musician and as someone that like gets bored easily too, it's like I get it. I respect that, and it's like, oh yeah, I want to, I want to help.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he definitely won't go down as a legacy act. So that's good.
Yeah. He just wants to do the. He knows he does the same songs and stuff, and but he's happy to. I've played so many different, like Fraction, Too Much Friction's one. Like we're playing it more like the record now, but when 15 years ago we were playing it so different. We were playing it almost like a swampy sort of New Orleans swampy thing.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So it's like it's always different. You don't know what to expect.
I think because knowing, around this time I was playing drums when that song first came out, and I remember hearing that on the radio.
Yeah,
it was like I haven't heard anything like that from a New Zealand pop song. Right?
Yeah.
So that kind of got ingrained to me with that song. So if I, personally, if I'd gone and seen you guys playing that swampy version of that song, I probably would have gone, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. But it worked. I remember it worked. But now, like, Tim has worked over the years a lot with a drummer called Ricky Fatah.
Yep. Yeah. No,
okay. So and he's one of those. I don't know how. For me, it seems like he's like not underrated, but he goes under the radar a bit.
More under the radar, not underrated. He's
underrated.
Rated,
No.
Under the radar. Yeah.
He's highly rated for me, but under the radar.
Gotcha,
Sorry, I meant.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, but he's come up with. He's like got an incredible feel. It's unbelievable, and also the part he came up with, that part, like it's like a half, it's almost reggae but not, and it's like he's always coming up with like interesting parts, like it's like a basic beat, but it somehow flips it in a weird way that makes it like different, and it's been a joy actually learning, because he played a lot of stuff. He still works with Tim. So they're always kind of just doing stuff. He's, I think they're friends, And but so that's it's been really fun learning, his parts and stuff like that. And, I didn't really know much about him until I started working with Tim.
Right.
So that's been, a real treat to, check Ricky Fattar out. But if you haven't heard of him, check Ricky Fattar out. Because,
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it. Yeah. So you've got the the rehearsals, then you've got the factory theatre gig, and then you've got Bluesfest. So what happens after that? Is there any more stuff with Tim, or you move on to something else?
It's nothing nothing like in the books, and Tim's, I think he's kind of retired, like not retired. He's like semi-retired now. Like after the last run, he was like, he got that bug again. He just gets that bug. It's so amazing to see, but he's like. It was kind of bumming, that like it was 6, we only did 6 shows, and it just felt like it was like we were just getting started, like by the 5th, 4th, 5th, 6th show, like then we're starting the band was like really starting to cook,
I watched a video today on YouTube of the Sydney gig in September last year, and it's like a 28-minute video, so I was watching the arrangement of the songs, and looked like you're into it.
Yeah, we were into it.
He was getting right into it.
Yeah, and he's totally. He's just going for it, man. He just, he's like, people don't know, but he's, if you don't know much about Tim, he's naturally like theatrical. It comes, the split ends were so
split
theatrical,
ends thing, isn't it? Yeah.
So, and he's the way his sort of mind works or something is like real theatrical. He loves theatre. The theatrics of performance is really important to him. It's really interesting, like, look at all the old Split and videos and stuff, and the suits, and that came because it wasn't because they were trying to sell records. They were like, that was the concept, was because they that's what they wanted to do, which is pretty, it's pretty interesting. Like, I don't think that way. Like, I'm never, sort of thought that way,
So does he expect...
I find that fascinating.
Does he expect the theatrical side of things from the band?
No,
not at all. Not asked of. Or,
no, it's more he loves us just to sound like musically good, and interesting, and sort of he just wants it to feel good and make if it makes him feel good, then it's right, So we're just. He's like it's a funny thing, but we're naturally, the whole band is there to give and, to bring his songs to life or something, and, in whatever way we come up with, and it's like, so there's a lot of room for creativity. So it's more about, it's less about how you play it, like the style of, and more about, like, I don't know, like learning, like we've been together a long time, so we have a thing, that it takes a while for a band or a certain group of players to develop a band feeling, and so we have a unique feeling in the band for whatever reason, so it's really fun that way, and it's kind of exciting, when it kicks in, and it's like when it's really happening, it feels great,
That's cool.
It's cool. Yeah, it's really cool.
That's cool.
And he turns on. You watch today, like we're just, for whatever reason, like you don't know when the music's going to really hit. It's like, even though you're rehearsing, but today we're playing It's Only Natural, and everyone just for whatever reason, the song just came to life, and we were just rocking like it was like we were already playing Bluesfest, and we're just rehearsing, but everyone's just gone for it like 100%, and it's really fulfilling inside.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, it's really, really, really fun.
That's great. And we were I was hoping to get in there.
Yeah,
and unfortunately they closed it before I got there.
Yeah, that's why we did it here, because I was like, I was trying to get Stevie to so I can do the, show him the kit rundown and stuff, and but they're super strict with their time. So basically, we're here from because it's a venue, and it's like there's this literally a person just coming in, opening the doors, and then like
they're on a shift. Yep.
Exactly. So it's a shame. Like other times, I think every other time, any other rehearsal place, we could have just done it there. But the person's like, I really want to go home. Like,
yeah, fair enough.
And I was like, okay, yeah, fair enough.
I did see the photos you post. I did see the photos
okay, cool.
you post on your Instagram today. So
yeah.
So explain the flying tom. Looks like there's a flying tom.
Yeah.
Virgil Donati style.
Yeah. So because I'm left-handed, I play the whole kit sort of in a mirror image. But basically, on top of where my auxiliary snare is, to my right, I have a 13-inch rack tom there, and I just sort of got it tuned down so it's almost dead.
Mm.
And it's more like for certain songs. It's just to beef up the snare. It's almost like an accent thing. Like for example, like songs like "Dirty Creature," digga 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 dum dum boom digga digga digga.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
Boom, like just to have that. So I hit sort of, and I just felt like it felt more natural to have it there. So my hands were open, and I just thought, because I can,
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, exactly. It's not like It's, normally, if you're doing a gig, it depends on where you're gigging, but it's like, I'll play all sorts of different, sizes of kits, depending on what you got to do. But that's basically why I have it there.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so it just felt natural, and just to have those, that hand open, so I hate the floor tom and that together, and things like that.
That's great. Cool. All right, let's roll it back. Let's go all the way back to the beginning, how it all started for you as a musician, drummer, and
okay, yeah.
So
I came out of my mum's vagina when I was in 13th of December.
I heard
in 19.
we're talking about, do you cut things?
The what?
You know how we were talking about...
Oh, yeah, that's going to be cut now.
No, not at all.
Oh, right, okay, cool.
No.
So, yeah, I started... I've got photos of me literally playing a drum when I was 10 months old.
Mate, I have that photo.
You have it?
I have it, yeah.
Yeah.
See, audio? It's audio. Look, what? People.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
No, I'm getting confused.
No, I do. I'm tricking everyone. So, they can't see it, obviously, because...
Yeah.
That's it there, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so, apparently, when I was 10 months, like, if I was being a little shit or if I was, like, crying and stuff, I would... they would give me that drum. My parents would put me in the cot and put that drum, and I would literally play it for 2 or 3 hours without stopping.
Right.
So I was like, yeah. So it's I don't know if that had anything to do with anything, but it's like apparently that would silence me, and I would just
do that.
Yeah. So I found that interesting, but I didn't really start playing drums until I was 13. I started when I was 13. A friend of mine had an electronic kit. His name was Robert. I forget his last name now, but he was getting lessons, and he had like an electronic drum kit, and he had like good technique, and he just had a drum teacher. So I remember he had, for his age, he was and I don't know. I was like. I just started playing it and sort of just found it interesting, and then I started working. The very next year, I sort of started working, like packing shelves and stuff at Mobile. Then I worked at Pizza Hut, and I saved up some money and bought myself a small kit, and it was like $400 or something, and. I used to play it, like, I set it up right-handed because, I just got like a beginner's drum book.
Yeah, and that's all right-handed, right?
Yeah, and I didn't know how to set it up, so I looked at the catalogues, and they were right-handed. And so I found it extremely difficult. And then one day I was like, maybe a couple months in, I was like, wait, what if I swapped it over? Because I was goofy-footed, so my foot is the problem.
Your foot's the problem, yeah.
Yeah, so I swapped the whole kit over, and then I immediately could play everything I could right-handed.
Yep.
And it felt natural.
Yep.
It just felt, oh yeah, okay, this makes sense now. Where the right-handed sort of felt a bit awkward. I didn't know why, you know. But like this basic foot-wise, you know, this is very basic beats still and stuff like that. So, and then I just got really into it, like, and I would practice like 4 to 6 hours after school every day, sometimes 10 to 12 hours on the weekends.
Yep.
When like I was really heavily into it, I started getting lessons with Milan Troja in at Billy Hyde's, like a lot of Sydney drummers did. And then I guess throughout my life, my discipline has varied, but like, you know, I was relatively disciplined back in high school, and then I went to AIM, it's Australian Institute of Music, after I finished high school.
Yep.
And I studied with Dave Plenty there, and I was there for like sort of 4.5 years. Like I flunked one of the I think like history or some silly subject that I had to do, like you know, so I had to do like a extra half year. But I had like thankfully I had like a little sort of a half scholarship for that, so that helped a lot, sort of financially and stuff. What else? Yeah. Yeah, it's been a while, but that's what I remember anyway.
Yeah.
Like
so musical
when I
family,
started.
Musical family?
No, not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. No. My grandma on my mum's side played piano.
Okay.
She loved a bit of piano. She played a bit, but she never got lessons. She wasn't like, I think they were too poor to get lessons, or she was never encouraged. But she loved piano, so she probably had it. But yeah, I you know. Very supportive family, but never not really musically inclined at all. Like, they loved music, obviously, like, so we had great records and stuff growing up, but they didn't play any musical instruments at all.
Yeah. Gotcha. Who were some of the earlier drummers that were influencing you?
Okay, all right, really early on, for reals, it was like, I remember Ben Gillies from Silverchair.
Wow, really?
Yeah, when I was 13, 14, I was like,
right, because
he was this kid, you know, he's probably like my age, similar age.
Yep.
I was like, you know, and he's just like, to me, I was like, wow, that's, you know, that's a real, yeah. And then, you know, I guess once I started getting lessons, then I got turned on to like real drummers, you know, like at Billy Hyde's, which was at the time was such an amazing sort of,
yep. Was it an
institution, right?
Yep.
So you would go in and you'd watch all the DCI videos, like Dennis Chambers, like I guess all the usual suspects, like, you know, Dave Weckl was always like a really, I just couldn't believe that you could sound like that on the drums, like, and especially I was just like, I'd hear my drums and they wouldn't sound like that at all. Like, I think a lot of us went through that. Like, how do you get your drums to sound like that kind of thing?
Well, we didn't have Yamaha recorded customs either, but
exactly.
that's another thing.
And they, so, like, but Steve Gadd was a real big influence on me sort of later, like once I started really, whatever clicked when I started appreciating the art of the drumming, I suppose, and I really, you know, fell in love with Steve Gadd. But this is, man, who else? Jimmy Chamberlain from Smashing Pumpkins. This was like in high school. Dave Grohl from Nirvana. Like I was Matt Cameron from Soundgarden. It's like I was kind of like in high school into sort of grunge and that sort of thing, and John Stanier from Helmet. I was really into him. This is and then later on, I guess I also got into the jazz drummers too. So Art Blakey, Tony Williams. So it was way beyond like my level of comprehension at the time, but I didn't know why I loved them. I just you know, I was like just amazed. And Max Roach as well. So Art Blakey, Tony, Max Roach with what's the name, trumpet player?
Miles?
No. No, Max Roach used to play. Oh my god, I'm so bad with names. Clifford Brown.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, so I was really into that stuff. Some live albums that I used to have on cassette. I used to So I had a kind of varied sort of stylistically, I suppose. Like it was like I had the rock and jazz. Then I got into the James Brown guys.
Yep.
I really got into those guys, like especially the live albums and stuff. I was like, just the arrangements and how tight the band was. I gravitated towards the groovy feeling always. Since for me, the feeling of the groove was something was like a mystery and a fascination for me. Mm-hmm. It's like I've been less about, trying to play as fast as I can, but I was more like in the nuance of a hi-hat or something. I was more into the nuances of like, for whatever reason, for better or for worse, I was into like the subtle, I'd play a hi-hat sometimes for like hours, just like trying to figure out like, just the space between the notes, stuff like that, like, and feeling and, how tightly I had my foot and how lightly, like, I don't know why, just being weird,
It's not weird, that's cool.
Yeah, awesome. But it's like, it was, my mind was into, was like fascinated with the subtleties of like, of sound or for whatever reason. So it's because I don't know. It's still a mystery to me. It doesn't end. The discovery and the mystery for me is like endless. But I think I was influenced by just the usual suspects. There's so many great drummers, man, and so many. Inspiration was never far away.
Yep.
It's like, there's so many, for whatever reason, there's so many different, ways of playing the drums. There's so many different ways of playing the drums. Which is amazing.
It's great about drums, eh?
Yeah. And only drummers really, really know that, like, if they're like, drummers, they really know that. But, I don't know what it's like for other, instruments, but I know we all share that as drummers, so that's pretty cool.
When you came out of AIM, actually while you were at AIM, were you sort of playing with ensembles and going out and playing gigs, forming bands and going out and playing pubs and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so I was already, I was already playing in like cover bands. So I was just playing in like top 40 type cover bands, like, like those real working type things. But I was happy that I was doing it because I was working, I was earning money at like 19 and, and like getting to play venues and, and then like women at gigs and stuff like that. So... yeah, that was a lot of fun, So on the weekends, I'd be doing like sort of cover gigs and originals. I've always done, and rehearse and during the week with my original bands and stuff like that. And I just played with as many people as I could, different styles, and I really, I love playing with people. I still do. Like for me, it was. After a while, it became a chore to practice and stuff like that by myself. And so I just started playing a lot with other people, and I was more about the unique energy that happens when you play with different people and stuff like that, and trying to create something, trying to find like, trying to discover the best way to play and, and to be with the people that you're playing with and adjusting and like, just to find the highest possible feeling that you get. I still aim for that each time, I play. But, I find that gets me off. That turns me on, It's like that that thing. I haven't practiced properly for so long, which is bad. You can really hear it now. It's like, especially on social media, all these kids just playing the shit out of the drums. I feel like, I'm just saying, it's like, I admire, like, it's like, the truth is the truth. You can't, do you know what I mean? It's like, you can't, it's like, you're not going to get away from it. This is, I don't shy away from the truth.
Yep.
I do know what I enjoy, and I'm way more aware than ever of my strengths and weaknesses and stuff. But it's the art never goes away. You know what I mean? So what you don't use, you lose. And so, thankfully, I've been really trying to, recently I've been wanting to practice again. Which instead of just playing. Because I used to just play, and that would be enough to maintain my, I had basically all I needed in terms of facility to express what I wanted to express and to play with the people that I wanted to play with. If that makes sense.
Yeah, on the practice thing, when we were texting, setting this up today, you said to me last night that, we'll be finished about 6 o'clock. And I said, I'll get in there between 6 or 6:30. And you said, and then you specifically said, that's all right, I'll just hang around and practice. Yeah. So straight away I thought, practice. Yeah. I reckon wonder what he's going to practice. Wonder what he's practicing. That's what I was thinking.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I would have literally, when I practice, I just work on the fundamentals, like on the basic, movements of my limbs, my legs and my hands, and try to get them even,
as more of a maintenance thing, or
especially and Tim, because I just felt rusty. Like yesterday, I sort of, I don't know if it was just. It always feels like it's just you, but yesterday, on the first day of rehearsal, I just felt a bit rusty, and I was just like, I'm very hard on myself. I've always been extremely unforgiving when it comes to, for whatever reason, So I just felt like, I just have to, and it doesn't take long. It's just something to loosen up my body. And I usually try to live my whole life with my body as loose, and that's like I do that deliberately. Yep. Because I know if I start my physically tensing up, I can't play drums.
Gotcha.
So it's like I just, it might look like, I just try to stay really aware of whatever stresses and things. I try to keep my body very relaxed so I can be limber and sort of play, I don't know, as sort of fluid and sort of relaxed, I guess, and that seems to work for me. I don't know. Yeah, so I just practice very fundamental things like keeping the bass drum and the hands locked in together. Not trying to play fast, just trying to get the spaces in between the notes, feeling. Get him in that flow state, I guess, where and it just feels natural, like natural. Yep. So getting back to, it's almost like you're always getting back to a natural state, which is a higher state or something. So physically, So that's all it is. Yeah, it's nothing.
How did you feel today?
Much better. Today was much better.
Yep.
Yeah, the whole band and we were starting some songs especially really sounded really good.
I know you said that you said that about how some of the songs sort of took off, I meant
I'm really critical.
Yep.
But so it's like it was there was a couple of songs that sounded legit for real.
Cool.
So and we still got a day tomorrow. We're going to run the set, and the band is just every time we play they're just they're really super professional, and they're so giving. They're just giving people. So I think that's really important as a musician. Like my favorite musicians are very giving. It's not about them. It's just like the fact that they have the ability to give, because that takes a long time to even develop that skill. But so it's it's very selfless, and it's like it takes, any good musician will know that's when you start really feeling the vibes, And Tim was happy, man. He's dancing around and that's a good feeling when your boss is like,
yeah, at rehearsal,
at rehearsal, it's like it's feeling good. So
yeah,
and yeah, it's weird that that's for me. It's like you don't know when the music's going to hit you. Doesn't mean just because you're playing music doesn't mean that you're in the music all the time. Okay, so it's like. It's so you can be at a rehearsal, and then if it hits you, I just can't help myself, and I just it comes, my expression from my being comes out, and that's for me is what will always keep me going. I don't know when I'm going to have a good gig, or when I'm going to when the music's going to come, to me, because it's not. I feel like I can just do as much as I can. For it to come through, but it's something spiritual for me.
That's cool, man. That's really cool. So the Strides.
Yep.
It's reggae.
Family band,
reggae band.
Yeah.
Good time band.
Yeah.
Just a party every time. Right?
Yeah.
So how long have you been in that setup?
So I don't know how long the Strides have been going for, since the beginning, because I wasn't the original drummer.
Yep.
Alan Hicks was the original drummer, and he's gone now to start making documentaries and stuff for Quincy Jones. He did the Quincy Jones one on Netflix, and he did the Clark Terry one. If you ever check out Clark Terry,
right,
it's called Keep On Keeping On. It's an amazing doco. Just a tearjerker. It's like it'll fill your heart up. And it's a beautiful story of a incredible musician and person and human being, who was Al's mentor. So I highly recommend anyone listening to this as well, check out Keep On Keeping On by Al Hicks on Clark Terry, who was a jazz trumpet player, who was Miles' favourite trumpet player, basically, and Quincy's hero as well.
Right.
They're like Quincy and him are like brothers, and that's how he got the Quincy gig, is because he was involved with Clark Terry, and Quincy was impressed that he was working on that and stuff. So Al started that with Nick Garbett, who's on trumpet, and Rory Brown, who's on bass, who still plays with us every now and then to this day. Mm-hmm. And it started as an instrumental, and then they did an album, and then I joined in on percussion, or like auxiliary percussion, basically. So Al will play drums, and I had like shakers and tambourines and sort of bells and whistles and sort of, like a timbali, things like that, just... and I did that for a few years. And then Al, when he moved to the States, is when I jumped on drums. So it's probably about 10, 12 years. I don't know how long it's been. Yep. Yeah, I'd lose count. Maybe 10 or 12 years or something that I've been playing drums with the Strides. So, yeah. And, yeah, we've just grown together, and we've had... we've been through so much bullshit and so much, it hasn't been an easy road for us at all, but we've
much bullshit, like as a band, like internal or from external. Yeah,
both, okay. But yep. Like mainly, not so much, like it never felt like it was gonna. I've been in bands where it's like it was really toxic. Yeah, and it was never felt toxic with the band. Okay. We're probably, although maybe when we were younger, we were probably all toxic, when we were like in our 20s, just like, just being wild or whatever, But now, I think because we've gone through all that and we matured, like, it's, to me right now, it's like, at a really special place. We got Ronnie, who's like he's like, he's getting on, but he's still out there just giving it his all, so that's inspiring to me. And it's not a band that, like, I don't know, it's not very, we're very extremely true to ourselves, and we're very respectful of each other's expressions in the band and personalities. So it's like, there's really, it's like 9 really strong personalities that come from all different parts of the world and different cultures, and just somehow get together and play. And we've been so fortunate to have, because a lot of us, we're all working musicians, right? So a lot of us can't do some of the gigs sometimes, and we've been so fortunate to have amazing, almost like sub players to come in. And so a lot of people have come through the band and still play in the band. Like Lisa Pomoda, she like fills in for me. Declan Kelly on drums, he fills in for me. You know, we're blessed, and we got like, you know, Danny Pliner is normally the guy, but Shannon Stitt, you know, he's amazing keyboard player, fills in. We've had all these different great bass players and guitarists. Matty Smith used to be in the band. Now Jake McDougall's on guitar. So yeah, and horns, like the best horn players.
Yeah.
You know, and so everyone seems to enjoy it, and like they work. You know, they'll just, you know, slum it with us, and they'll sleep in shitty motels for it, just to have fun on the gig, you know, which is like, for me, is such a joy to have such quality players come and just want to play and just blow and just have fun, and you know, you take the music serious because you just love it, but it's like, but that's it, you know, you don't take yourself seriously, and you just sort of. You try to get the party started, and you know, we just try to. Yeah, the concept's very simple. We play very simply, and we especially me. I just keep, you know, as it's like almost like a reggae Phil Rudd or something. You know, that kind of thing. Yeah. I just almost like dumbed down, and it's just the funnest thing. It's something happens, and once we're locked in, it just feels so good, and people dance, and it's like fun, you know. Yeah.
You just mentioned Phil Rudd there. It was yesterday. I was watching the Back in Black video.
Awesome. Yeah.
Have you studied Phil Rudd when he?
Yeah. I love Phil
obviously,
Rudd.
like.
I love Phil Rudd, man.
You know.
I really studied. Yeah, I checked him out. Yeah.
So I don't think people realise how hard it is to play Back in Black.
Yeah.
I'm not just. I mean, it just sounds like a.
Without sounding naff. Yeah. It's easy to sound naff on all those songs. It's just
where he puts that snare drum, right? And you're talking about note spacings and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's almost like, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but like I listen to, you know, to Angus and Malcolm playing guitar, and it's almost like when they're playing their riff, they push it a little bit, but then they know that Phil's pulling the snare back a little bit, and it never sounds like it's dragging, but if you were to put a metronome to it or clap your hand to it,
it feels amazing.
You'll struggle.
And there's a mystery to it still. It's a mystique.
What's he doing?
How's he? Yeah.
Is he slowing down? He's not slowing down.
No.
It's just where he's putting.
Yeah.
And then you watch the video.
Yeah.
And how he's moving his body, right?
Yeah.
Just the way his whole body sort of moves, like the motion, and you can see where he gets it from.
Yeah.
I probably sound a bit weird talking like this.
No, not at all. To me, it makes total sense.
Yeah, yeah.
I really like those live gigs where he's on, especially even the later ones, because it's like that when they're playing those massive stadiums, and like, do you know what I mean? Like that whole fucking place is fucking moving, man. It's like you can't. You could literally. It's the first beats that you teach any kid.
Yeah.
That's what's amazing about it too, right? So it's like I would teach, you know what I mean? When any teacher, I would like, you know, it's a great sort of learning tool, you know, for basicness or simplicity, right? But when you start like wising up to stuff, you realize there's something else going on there,
to it,
and it's not a fluke.
Yeah.
It's the real deal. The feeling, and like Malcolm as well was such an amazing rhythm guitarist. Like you could tell they worked on like the feeling. It's like once you're in a groove, you really know something happens.
Yep.
Like, and it's not something that an individual. For me personally, you can do it. You can get into a groove by yourself, obviously, but when you do it with a bunch of people, it's like amazing feeling that you don't want to end.
Yep.
So it sort of bypasses it'd be interesting to know what happens in the brain, because it bypasses something and something transcends, right? And so and the movement, like you said, there's something that it viscerally happens in the human body where you want to move. You know, you dance, and you don't have to learn how to dance, but you'll just naturally want to move. You know? And that's, to me, is like, that's the part of me, I guess, where this felt like, okay, my job, I can see this as a role I can play as a job in terms of like a service. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh yeah, you're actually giving something, you know, to people. Like, you know, when you tap into that, knowing that you can actually make someone dance, that's kind of like pretty special. So, and it's, don't get me wrong, it's not, you know, we all have our days, but it's like when you do, you know, you do tap into that, because it's something you tap into. It's not unowned to. It's not just something that is. It's rhythm. Rhythm's like a universal thing. I believe, I don't believe, I know that it's like it's in the almost the structure of how the universe is built. You know, and so. You know, and when we're the lucky people that are the people that are lucky enough to tap into that, like, it doesn't matter what instrument you play either. It's like that feeling is like really special. That's why you can play the simplest beat and be the happiest man. You can play it forever.
You know what? It doesn't even have to be an instrument. Like,
exactly. That's right.
I can get that feeling from walking or running.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. Yeah, it's not about even playing the instrument. That's right. It's like it's inbuilt in working. You can work even if you're working. You can get into a rhythm, into a groove when you're working. Yep. You can get into a groove. Like so many people that are like cooking, like, you know, like, what about all the people, like the street food vendors everywhere, all over the world? Yeah. It's rhythm. It's like that to me is rhythm. That's the rhythm I'm talking about. It's like that thing that it's beyond instrument. Yeah. 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 You get into a groove, and that's something that the move. It creates movement on. It creates life. It's life. You know. Yeah. It's fascinating. Yeah.
It is.
And that's the thing that will always keep me coming back. It's not the drums that keep coming out. I get sick of every. You know. And sometimes I don't want to hear drums. You know, like I don't want to hear. You know, sometimes drums can be sometimes the most unmusical instrument in the world, you know. So, but ironically, when you can make music on the drums, it's really special, you know. And you don't know when that's going to happen. That's to me that the rhythm of life is really, I really like find that fascinating on the human beings in all aspects, like you said, not just playing music, but like how humans cook and work and like find, you know, like whatever trade they're doing, whatever, you know, how they find, you know,
it's how you swing a hammer to knock a nail in. You know, exactly. There's a rhythm and a movement to that. Exactly. That if you tense it up and if it's not in the groove or the rhythm, what happens?
Dangerous.
You bang your finger or you bend the nail. Right, simple as that.
It's like it teaches you. It's like, okay, so the creative life wants you to let go. And wants you to dance. It's a dance. You know what I mean? It's like and it sort of you know, the joy. Yeah, that connection is where the joy is for me. Yeah,
it's special, man.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, it's the only thing that, you know, through all the struggles you go through as being a musician and stuff, or whatever, or even just life in general, that's the thing that sort of there's a base thing there, you know, that can keep you going, you know, to the next day.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I'm rambling on too much.
No, it's good.
Okay.
It's what we do here. Now, I want to talk about your mate, Nick Weaver.
Okay.
Now, Nick passed away last year?
A couple of years ago.
2 years ago, sorry. and you guys ended up completing an album that was being made at the time, right?
Yeah.
And I've been listening to the album for the last couple of days, and it's fucking awesome. It's fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Love it.
Yeah, that was really special. So Nick was someone I met at AIM, and we just hit it off. He was a bass player, and just a super talented guy, and just the funniest guy. Like, anyone who knew Nick would tell you this guy he was like, like a Dave Chappelle type level
was he,
of humor. He was so funny, and not in a funny way, like never in a derogatory way, never like to put you down or anything like that. It was just he was a very thoughtful and sensitive guy. Like, so he was just so funny that like you would always, you couldn't. It wasn't like something that you would envy. It was something that you would just felt included. He would always made everyone feel included in the humor or something. It's hard for me to explain, to describe. But so we were really close. Like, we were super close for years, and we played in a band called Deep Sea Arcade together, and people loved it for whatever reason. Loved our the groove that me and Nick created together, and it was like, obviously I miss him, every day. There's not a day that goes by I don't think about him or and miss him. But we played in a lot of different things together. And basically before he passed away, literally like hours before he actually passed away, Simon Ralph from the Tambourine Girls, and also played in Deep Sea Arcade, he just got the passcode for his what do you call it, for the alot thing.
Right.
Yeah, and so he had all these like, basically his album was like kind of 85 to 90% done.
Yep.
It just needed like Miles Thomas had played on 3 tracks.
Yep.
And I don't know if you've interviewed Miles yet.
I haven't yet.
Okay,
no,
all right. So,
but I know.
Yeah,
Miles.
Miles. Yeah. And the rest, there was no drums. I don't think there was a sort of scratch drums. And so me and also Nick's dear friend Nick Meredith, who's also a drummer, we went in and did the drums for the rest of the track. We just sort of, I don't know. That time was just a bit weird because we were just mourning and grieving, and still, we just chose the songs. We played Won't Give In together. That was really special. Played double drums on Won't Give In. And we got to finish his record and stuff. We basically went and finished his record. And that felt super special, and it's so good, to have that and to hear his voice, and just to have that for me, and it's hard for me to describe. It was such a tragic, sad thing that happened. It literally over 9 weeks, they found out he had cancer, and from the first time I sort of heard about it, it just happened so quickly. Like 9 weeks is not a long, you know what I mean? It's not a long time. And like, we had a dark sense of humor, you know what I mean? Like, but it was just, it was just shocking, It was just so mind-boggling.
Did you realise at the time when he was sort of first diagnosed that it's not going to be long?
No way.
So
no.
it's like
the way Nick was,
we're going to fix this.
Yeah, no, the way Nick was, it was like, I was like, oh, yeah, all right, we'll just have to go. Oh, yeah, okay, that's cool. Yeah, you got, you got
sorted
cancer.
and we're back into it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
And I don't know. Maybe he knew, but who knows? If he did know, I don't. You know what I mean? He was like, he wasn't even to the week before. You know what I mean? Like.
No burden on anyone.
Exactly. And he fooled me because it was like I hadn't, for whatever reason, I was busy around that time, and I didn't see him deteriorate. So physically. So from the time he got it to the time he passed away, his whole body had deteriorated so much.
Yeah.
And so it was like I would speak to him on the phone all the time.
Yeah.
So and it was like he would literally, we were talking about, man, it's like it'd be like, flicking a mosquito off.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this is my mentality. He's going to flick this like a mosquito off. That's how he talked as well.
Yep.
And so I was really, it really hit me hard when it happened, but yeah, it was, and all of my friends listening to this and all the people that know him and knew him and stuff, like we all have the same. You made everyone feel like you were his best friend. He was everyone's best friend. He was like a special dude. Like there's only people like that. Only you may be lucky to meet one or two people like that in your whole lifetime. I reckon he was one of those guys. Like super, yeah. And maybe those guys just, seem to always be the ones that go first or something. Or I don't know. They don't. Maybe that's just bullshit, but it feels that way sometimes.
Yeah, right.
Maybe just that feeling is relatable. If
Okay.
it's it's like that perception is highly relatable, in my opinion. When you get when someone like just basically just vanishes from this plane of existence, But I still feeling, I still feel him somehow. Like, someone like that will always, have an impression, even probably before you, even after you go, after you die here. So he was a super profound human being and friend in my life. Yeah. So it's been and for all of us, for so many musicians, and just a very lovable human being, just So it's an honor. It's like I just cherish all the times more than ever than he was alive. I cherish it now way more. And also the connections that he had with all the people. I really love those people now more than I ever, probably did when he was like the people that he was connected to. Because I know that if you were connected to Nick, then that meant you had something too, or something like that. Like, he only, So that's how I feel about Nick and the people in Nick's life and stuff. Yeah.
That's cool, man. So I'll link the album, the Nick Weaver album. What's the name of the album actually? Oh, hang on, I've got it on my phone. So the album's called "Won't Let Go."
Okay.
By Nick Weaver, and I'll
so that's the title song. One of the songs is "Won't Let Go." That's the one that me and Nick Meredith played double drums on.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was fun. I really enjoyed that. Yeah.
This.
Yeah. So
Are you on the left or the right?
Oh, good question. I think I'm on the right. When we did the session, I was on the right side and Nick was on my left.
Okay.
I'm the guy doing the pa on the snare. Every now and then you hear
got
like
it.
a little.
Very cool. So my favourite, it's the guitar that
He was so good with guitar tones, man. He was so specific. He knew, he was just... Man, it would have been hard in being in a band with him as a guitarist because he knew exactly...
What is that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, go listen to it, people. I'm
Yeah.
not going to play it all here.
Yeah.
Skunkhour. Now, you are the drummer in Skunkhour now.
I am the new drummer,
Right.
officially new drummer for Skunkhour.
Right, so how did that come about?
So, basically, 2 weeks out of this book tour that they had, everything was booked. They had, as far as I know, they just had like a falling out with the drummer. Like, I think he was just, his heart wasn't in it anymore. And
Was the original drummer?
the original drummer. So that's the bass player's brother.
Okay.
So Michael is his name, and I used to be a fan of Skunkhour. So basically, I think they called AO to call Declan Kelly, and he was like, "Oh, Deck, can you do this tour, man? Like, we don't, we got this tour booked." And he's like, "Oh, I don't know if I can do it, but you should, call Carlos. He might be able to do it." And I already knew Al Goodman, who plays keys in the band, and Al was like, "Oh, yeah, that was cool." And I'd already done some gigs with Aya as well, the singer, the frontman, just doing like sort of cover stuff. Like, he had a band called The Elements where we'd do some cool covers, renditions of some covers that he wanted to do and stuff. So we'd already sort of knew each other, and then basically, they just called me like, I think it was like less than 2 weeks before the tour, and said, "Hey, can you do this tour?" And I was available, and or made myself available, can't remember.
Yeah.
And then, then we just met at rehearsal, and I met Warwick, the guitarist, and Dean on bass, and we just clicked immediately, like, as people, just quirky dudes, like, and just, left the center or something.
That's cool.
And we just clicked as musically and and as people from the first rehearsal, and then we just had the best time on that first tour, and it's so good to play. I just love those songs that they, and
Be good fun to play.
so fun to play.
You can lay it down, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's not rocket. Again, it's not rocket science. It's like, but it's right up my thing. It's just like I like to be that guy for whatever reason. Just you laying it down, I get in making it feel good, and when playing with Dean, Sutherland is great on bass. He's a great bass player, great feel, and he knows those songs. Those guys knows the song. They got that muscle memory of 30 years of so they have. When you play with that, it's like, it's really fun. So we've been having a ball. Like, we're all it's been, I don't know, I think it'll be 2 years in September this year or something that we can play together. It doesn't feel like long. It's been like maybe a couple of years that we've been playing together. But so that's been so much fun. Yeah. And people still come out like Skunkhour fans are like, really love the band.
Yeah.
Like, they like really, it's one of those bands where the people that get it, like, they really get it, and they really get behind it. And I love that. I love that, playing to that type of fan,
Yeah.
that type of audience.
Some plans for new music? I know there was one.
Yeah, we did that one song.
Oh, so you played on that?
I played on that. Yeah,
Okay.
But it was funny because it's like, it was like the way it turned out. When we did the session, we had a way different sort of sound when we recorded that, and then in the mixing process, it completely changed.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Did you actually play it, or was it?
No, I played it.
Yeah, so maybe it's got
a sample.
Sample over
it's got
top.
a sample on the snare drum, and it's because we went for almost like a Faith No More type sort of sound. That's how we recorded it.
Right.
To me, that in my brain, that was what it reminded me of, like that type of sort of funk rock. I don't know, funk rock sort of thing.
Yep.
But then they wanted to, for whatever reason, creatively wanted to turn it into a drier sort of sound.
Yep.
Less sort of less bombastic, and sort of, you can't do that when you've recorded, like, it would have, we could have done the drum. So it was, it was kind of one of those things that sort of came together like differently. But live though, it's such a fun it's a fun song to play live.
Yeah.
And we do it a bit more bombastic live, So we sort of play it live more like how we initially sort of came up with it. And we just jam on those things. Like a lot of the stuff we literally just jam in sound checks and stuff like that. Whenever we get together in rehearsals and sound check, we'll just start jamming, and someone will record it and go, hey, why don't we just, it happens really organically and happens really quickly. Like Aya's really quick with vocals and melody ideas, and Warwick is they're very unique type of players, so like they don't sound like any other sort of players. They sound like themselves. They're so sort of individualistic. I don't know like how to describe them, but they're that type of musician where they're very just very individual sounding sort of, anyone
but
that's heard them that would know what I mean.
They're like an Australian Jamiroquai.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
Because those guys, the guitar player, the drummer, and Jamiroquai, been with that band forever.
Yeah.
And they just have
Yeah.
their way of playing. And
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And that's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah,
exactly
that's
right. It's one of those, they're like that,
Yep.
Where me as I've had to, throughout my sort of musical or drumming life, it's like I've had to play so many different roles. I've been able to adapt and to play, pretend I was like, this, like I wanted to sound like any, style I played, I just, tried to sound, nice little spider, yeah.
I hate spiders.
Do ya?
So that's a little huntsman.
Was it? Was
yeah,
that a
just a little one. Would be from this tree.
Yeah.
But I just see that as someone who's going to grow up to be a big huntsman. But
I don't mind spiders at all.
That is huntsman, eh? Is it? Oh,
could be. It doesn't.
Oh, he's too
could
cool.
be. No, I think you're right.
Yeah,
I think it is a huntsman. I think it's a baby huntsman.
The way he's walking. Stay away from my bag.
Yeah.
You're not coming home with me, mate.
Yeah, he's just chilling. Yeah. Oh, man, they're the best ones to have around your house if you're not afraid of, spiders.
I got bitten by one.
Yeah, they bite, but they're nothing.
No, it wasn't the major. It was around Christmas time, and we think it came off the Christmas tree that we bought. This is a few years ago. But anyway, we're in bed, and I think I was reading, and then I stopped reading, and like my arm dropped down or something like that. But my wife was still reading. She had the nightlight, and she said she kind of turned a little bit, and she saw this fucking massive shadow of a spider, right? So then
scary.
So she went to lean over,
yeah,
and then at that point the spider ran down the thing up my arm, and then as I woke up and I touched my arm, it went bang and whacked me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it was more of a fright, because it was right on my bicep, right?
Yeah,
so it was just like
naturally just went, what the hell?
It was like a flick if someone flicks you with their nail. It was like that. It was like fuck. So then my wife's on the Google. We didn't realise that that huntsman bit. So it's like we're googling. What happens if a
yeah, they do bite, but nothing happens. Yeah.
No, it was just it kind of swelled up a little bit, but man.
No, I don't mind huntsmen. There's the ones you got to look at, those white tips.
The white tails, we get a few of them around our place.
Yeah. They're sort of flesh.
They're flesh-eating things. Yeah, my uncle in New Zealand got bitten by one when he was in bed one night.
Yeah.
And his whole face started swelling up, and he lost some skin.
Man, poor guy. Yeah. Man, Straya. Redbacks and funnel webs, man. Funnel webs they're legit scary looking things.
Yeah,
man.
they are.
Funnel webs, man. If you ever seen one of those,
yeah.
They're aggressive too, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
But and we got snakes, man. The brown snakes. I'm terrified of brown snakes. And red bellies and stuff, but not so much even red bellies, because they're kind of
they're kind of timid.
They're kind of more timid.
Yeah,
they're not as aggressive as they'll fuck you up if
they'll fuck you up, but they want to get away from
you. If you play, yeah. But browns are aggressive, man. They'll chase you.
Yeah, fuck that.
And they're fast. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, that took a bit of a turn, eh? That bloody spider. Yep.
Yeah.
So you're talking about how you're adapt. You know, you feel like you have to adapt to everything, and I think what you're trying to get to is that you don't think you have a sound. Well, I mean, I disagree with that. And I reckon a lot of your peers would disagree with that too. That it's unmistakably you.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I never think that way. I've never, and I don't hear myself.
Yeah, but I don't think any musician really. Well, unless they're kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Pigeonholed into a particular sound, and they own that sound, and that is their sound.
No. I love that too. There are, but I think there's certain players that's like there's definitely musicians that are like that.
Yeah, you know?
But I've never worked. I've never that's not. No. That was never my. I've never as a goal. Or something that I'd work towards. I never had my own sound.
Yep.
So. I'm wondering if I do have a sound, is that just me? I try to be as authentic to myself and to everyone else as I can be. Like my own ego. It's not like I don't try to escape from my ego. I try to not be 100% ego, but I mean ego in the sense of personality. Just whatever's naturally comes out for whatever reason. You know, is. That's what I try to be. I feel like it's for some reason it's important to me, or something I.
Well, it's important to a lot of other people too, because they keep booking you, man.
Right, yeah.
You know?
But so it maybe sonically maybe that's probably where that comes from. But I don't hear it in me when I hear myself play. I don't hear that. All I hear is mistakes, and all I hear is is just the
Why didn't you ask the other guy?
Yeah, all I hear is what's wrong with it, basically. That's all I hear when I listen to myself play. You know? And, but when because, drums, and especially when you're trying to do it as as a service, I suppose, I'm trying to be as open sonically, so the snare drum, I'm not trying to be attached to a specific sound, snare drum sound or bass drum sound. Even though I have my preference, I might have a preference, but I love, I think a lot of drummers love open sounding drums, so it's but for me, that's rarely ever works on sort of when you start putting microphones in and you start relationships sonically, for me, in my opinion, it changes everything. So you're no longer just in relationship with your drums, because you are getting mic'd up, and then you are playing with other instruments and your other. So I feel like you have to sonically adjust, and I'm more than happy to adjust the sound of the drums to suit whatever's happening, not so much stylistically, but more sonically with the band, meld the bass drum, or, meshing with the bass player, the guitars. I find that important and more distracting. It's what seems to happen is I find if it's not right, it's more distracting in my mind or something. So, and I don't want to be distracted, so I want to get into the music, right? And it's stopping me from losing myself. So it's those things. That's why those things seem to become important or something. It's it's a thing that you want to get, so you can get out of your mind. You know what I mean? So you're not in your mind anymore, and you can't. And once if you don't deal with those problems or those nuances, it seems like they're always going to be distracting, and they frustrate you. They're extremely frustrating to me.
So how often are you on a gig? I suppose that would probably happen more often if it was just a fill-in type gig. You haven't got time to sort of think about and analyse the sound. For example, you're here for 3 days in a rehearsal, and so you've got those 3 days to sort that shit out. Before you go to Factory Theatre and to Bluesfest, that kind of thing. But
I've played with him for a long time, so that took a long time. It takes, and it never ends. It just gets. I don't think it ever ends.
It just gets a little bit easier, I suppose. Yeah,
it gets easier, but
just tweaking it.
but I just think you just get more specific.
Yeah, okay.
You just, the more you do the same gig, or the more you play the same song over and over and over again, for me, and I think for a lot of people, your mind seems to just get more specific to the point where you can't even, it's like a never-ending, it's like putting a microscope on something, and then, that little bacteria that's in there's probably got a microscope on something else, because it just keeps going. And and if you zoom out, the same thing. The universe, it's like we're probably bacteria to the rest of the planets, and in the galaxies, and it's just like it's just this. It's a never-ending sort of thing. Yeah, and I used to hate that. Obviously, it was so frustrating because the frustration is real. Yeah. We all, as musicians, it's like the frustration's real. So, but, and also like live. So you might be in a small room playing small rooms, but then all of a sudden when you start playing bigger venues, like a cymbal that used to hate or sound awful, like in a small room, suddenly makes sense. Yeah. In a bigger venue, because it's like, and the cymbals that you love, they just sound horrible in a big, so it's like it's one of those, the drums are like that, and thankfully, I mean, we live in a time where you've got every sort of choice available, any sound you can imagine pretty much as like, it's out there if you want it, if you really want it,
that's right.
You can get it. So, I just try to be appropriate for the stylistically. And if there's anything that sonically that does sound like me, it's just coming because I'm expressing my soul or my heart, and putting my heart into it, I guess. And it's as simple as that. It's nothing else. There's no trickery, and for a lot of musicians, like I love, I think it's my side of that giving feeling, I guess,
So with going back to the frustration, I'm just curious as to, do you get on gigs where that frustration just never allows you the space to get into the music,
to express? Oh, absolutely.
Right. And how often do you reckon?
Oh man, it still happens. And I don't know why it happens, and it could be so many things can throw you off. The sound of the room can be horrible. Yeah. And no matter what you do, the drums just sound horrible. And it's like you have to do a job, so you got to play them, but in my mind or inside, I'm dying because it sounds so bad to me or whatever. Yeah. Like I just want to stop playing. I don't want to touch them.
And you can't.
It feels like a sin.
You can't brush it off.
Yeah, you can't brush it off.
Yeah, wow. Okay.
Yeah. It's like, and you could have set up that morning in a studio with the same drum sound, and they would have sounded amazing. Yeah, so it's like, I don't know. I think there's so many factors. There's some things with experience, thankfully with experience, you start picking up on, things like, so you start like, learning how to adapt to certain rooms. So you look around, you go, okay, there's this is full of glass, or this is brick walls or square, you know what I mean? High ceilings. Like I noticed what I like, I adjust a little bit the playing, my playing to the room. I tried to, I don't know. It's like big rooms are different. Big rooms, you're at the mercy of
the sound guy.
Yeah, and like some of those big rooms, the bounces of the reverbs, and it's just going to sound horrible. And they weren't built for, PAs. They were built for, acoustic. A lot of theatres built to project acoustically. So once you put PAs in, like, they're always going to be a nuisance, Yep. But yeah, I mean, we live in this day and age where if you really wanted to, you could treat, people, spending millions of dollars treating rooms, like the Sydney Opera House. They're treating, they treated that. It sounds so much better than it used to. But yeah, it's still. No day goes without me being frustrated, and not being frustrated, but then also, the plus side of that is when you know, I think it's just life, you know. I just accept it now that I'm older. Accept the frustration 100%. I just take it all in. It's my responsibility.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's like I just take it as almost like a responsibility that I have to, And it's for no one else. It's just for me.
Yep.
Yeah.
So talking of, you know, rooms, big rooms, you, Skunkhour, right? The thing that came to mind there was you had a gig at Selena's, right?
Yep.
And because that was it before Christmas or something? And that's when we started messaging.
Okay,
saying,
yep. Yeah, I think it
would have been last year or whatever it was.
Yeah, I think it was November or something.
Yeah, and I asked you how the gig went and you said it went good. But I went to see the Herbs actually play at Selena's.
Who?
The Herbs.
Oh, the Herbs. Oh, cool. Yeah,
Years and years ago. There was Herbs and... I can't remember who else played. But at Selena's, if you're a punter, you've got the couple of... Like, you've got the big part of the room, but then there's like a mezzanine floor, and then if you stand under that floor, underneath the mezzanine floor, have you ever been in there?
Yeah, I have. I've seen.
That is the worst sounding.
Yes,
we
Selena's,
had to. I mean, because we love the Herbs, right?
But did you go upstairs?
Didn't get up. We couldn't get up there.
Oh man,
So it would have sounded great. And if we'd got
ahead
in front of the mezzanine, it would have sounded great.
Yeah,
but we were just stuck in that
room
little...
sounds different everywhere you stand.
Yeah, right.
But man, it is a classic venue.
Yeah,
it was like such a legendary venue. I saw a Perfect Circle there.
Wow, did you?
Yeah, that was amazing.
With Josh Freese?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah.
You know, he's touring again with
with the Perfect Circle. I saw that.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, follow me on Instagram.
So he's going to do the tour, and then he's just...
and like now he's playing with the Foo Fighters. It's like
crazy.
Yeah, he's just...
Oh, I love that guy, man.
Unbelievable,
been
man.
a big fan of his for years and years.
Me too.
Yep.
Me too, man. He can do it all.
Oh, yeah, he's great.
And there's nothing he can't do.
And he's funny as fuck.
He's so funny. Oh man, yeah. He's like a inspiration to so many people.
Yep.
Yeah, so many drummers. He's definitely... And I love that he just kept it quirky. He kept himself quirky. Like, I just find he never tried to be like, he just kept himself professional in terms of music, but I loved, like the fact that
he's got purple hair and poodles.
Yeah, exactly. He accepted his quirks, He didn't try to hide them, like to, iron them out or anything. He just embraced. No. I think when I was younger, I just always appreciated people like that more than the, straight cut sort of, more like the Dave Weckels or something that are a bit more straighty 180 or something, like in terms of their projection of who they are.
I know what you're saying.
But yeah, as like a, just, yeah. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of Josh Freese, as we all are.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the rest of the year got in store for you after you get back from Bluesfest and that kind of stuff?
If I'm honest with you, I don't have that much on in the books. Like,
does that concern you?
No. Because no, it doesn't concern me. I just, I know something will come up, so, for whatever reason, or I would just, And
you're happy to have the free time? No, I wouldn't say free time. But...
No, it's never free time, but it's like, I don't know. Like, it's not that it doesn't scare me, but it's like I really enjoy playing, and so if I will, like, I'll go look for a reason to play.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's never. Yeah, I'll play anywhere and with anyone. If it's good, it's gonna be. So, I'm gonna, now that I'm up where I am now, I'm gonna start. I'm going to focus on sort of, I think, teaching for the next sort of year. I'm going to get, back into teaching. I started teaching when I was like 18, 19, early on. Milan got me teaching like quickly. Even he just said, just told me to do it. And I was like, I'm not ready. He's like, yeah, you are, just do it. Like, just start basic with this. And so I started teaching sort of primary school kids and sort of got a sense of how to teach and stuff like that. I did it for like over 10 years. And then it wasn't, something happened where I was like, okay, I'm at that age now where I remember telling myself when I sort of quit, I was like, if I was going to take teaching seriously, it was almost like a fork in the road. If I would have, to fully commit to teaching and the responsibility that it takes and like the actual, the real, thing of it, I had to commit 100%. And I was either too mature or not ready to do that. And I still had so much, I wanted other things to do or something, or to,
Yep.
But now where I am and sort of where I am in my life and sort of, I'm just like, I think it's time. I think I've got enough material, to give back that way now. So probably the next 6 months I'll focus on setting up some teaching sort of and maybe some, like, I still haven't set up like a recording space where I am. So I want to just focus on that too.
Yeah, that's cool.
Do some more sort of, recording. Just get that sorted, because it's like, certain attributes I really just got to get my shit together on that side of things. But gig wise, there's no, like, I was busy for, like, since I moved up to Fingal. Thankfully, I had a lot of sort of touring gigs coming up. I was playing with the Beautiful Girls as well, and just various sort of acts here and there. And so that sort of kept me going, kept me playing. But now, I think I'm just gonna, just focus on maybe practicing recording and teaching, I guess.
Yeah.
And obviously, something worthwhile on tours come along, But I don't I've got to network more up there, because I'm so bad with networking and all that sort of stuff and meeting new sort of people, because I sort of grew up in the scene in Sydney, you know?
Yep.
So I never had to really do that. I just sort of played with, everybody, or like, hang out, and so everything sort of happened more organically, I guess,
Yep.
But now that I'm up there, I feel like, there's so many great musicians up there, and a lot of work as well. So I'm just maybe trying to, just network more with musicians up in Queensland. And the circuit's big, so it's like, it seems to be like from basically Byron and everything in between to the sunny coast, and then sort of out west there's country gigs and stuff like that. So cool. There's plenty of people to meet and play, great musicians. We're so, like, I love when just meeting great players and trying to blend and gel with them, and sort of I find that to me, I really cherish that a lot, because we got so many great players in Australia per capita than like anywhere else in the world. I reckon it's amazing, man. You never know when you're going to meet motherfuckers, it's like, it's amazing, so that's probably, I guess that's my plan, but plans never go. I'm not much of a planner. I just sort of go with the flow.
Just go with it.
It's too hard. So I just just like to cruise, for better or for worse.
Awesome, brother. All right, Carlos Adura.
Can I say before we stop, I just want to thank you, Steve, for honestly for doing this, and for like all the people and all the friends that you've done, and just to shine a light on all the musicians that you've put on. They're all special people, and I'm very honoured to be on this. So thank you so much for what you do.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it, man.
No worries, man.
It's just great to sit and hang with you.
Yeah,
I've been trying to do this for a long time, eh?
I know, and I just Well, we did it though. I'm glad we did it.
Yeah.
And I was Yep.
So I appreciate it, and I appreciate you, bro. So
likewise.
Look after yourself, man.
You too, brother.
All right, brother.
All right.
See you, man.
See you, brother.
Yo, it's Stevie here. I hope you enjoyed that episode.
If you dig the Gig Life podcast, please subscribe, share, leave a review. Please follow us on Instagram and TikTok. You can send me a message if you have an idea for a guest or if you just want to say hello. This podcast is free, costs you nothing. But if you find the value in the Gig Life podcast, you can leave a tip or a donation. Links are in the show notes on your app. That's it for me for now. Catch you next time, guys. Cheers.